Say the name Bathsheba, and most people picture a beautiful woman bathing on a rooftop, luring poor King David into sin. She's been cast for centuries as the biblical seductress, the woman who tempted a man after God's own heart. But let's be clear, Bathsheba didn't tempt anyone. She didn't lure anyone. She didn't even have a choice. Her story begins as one of survival in the face of royal abuse and historical silencing. But it doesn't end there. Over time, Bathsheba becomes something the storytellers never wanted you to see. A woman of political power who shaped Israel's monarchy and secured her son Solomon's throne. The story as written, Bathsheba's introduction in 2 Samuel 11 is grim. King David sees her bathing, sends for her, and sleeps with her. There's no talk of consent, no romance, just royal command. When she becomes pregnant, David tries to cover it up, and when that fails, he has her husband Uriah killed. Bathsheba loses everything: her husband, her safety, her voice. She is written as passive, silent, a pawn in David's game. But the story doesn't end there. The skewed facts. For centuries, Bathsheba has been painted as a temptress. Preachers and commentators suggest she deliberately bathed in David's view, as if she were baiting him. They frame her as complicit in adultery, the femme fatale behind a king's downfall. But the Bible never says that. The verbs belong to David. He saw, he sent, he took. Bathsheba is acted upon, not acting. And yet, history chose to blame her, because it's easier to call a woman a seductress than to confront the abuses of a powerful man. The silent survivor. Bathsheba speaks little in the early part of her story. Her grief, her anger, her survival strategies are left off the page. But silence isn't the same as absence. And over time, Bathsheba emerges from the shadows of David's sin to wield influence in ways that shape Israel's future. Bathsheba, the queen mother. By the time we reach 1 Kings, Bathsheba has stepped into a new role, queen mother, the most honored woman in the royal court. When Adonijah, one of David's other sons, tries to usurp the throne, Bathsheba doesn't stay quiet. She goes directly to the aging David and reminds him of his promise that her son Solomon would reign. 1 Kings 1:15-21. David listens. He publicly declares Solomon king, thwarting Adonijah's plot. Without Bathsheba's intervention, Israel's history could have gone very differently. Later, in Solomon's reign, Bathsheba appears again. When she enters Solomon's court, the king doesn't treat her as a pawn. He bows to her and seats her at his right hand on a throne. 1 Kings 2:19. That's not the treatment of a disposable woman. It's recognition of her status as political matriarch. Bathsheba transforms from the woman David took into the woman who decides kingship. She leverages her position not only to secure Solomon's rule, but also to assert her own dignity in a system that had once silenced her. The modern connection. Bathsheba's story is painfully familiar. A powerful man abuses his authority. The woman gets blamed as the temptress. She is silenced while he is excused as tragic or flawed. But Bathsheba's story doesn't stop there. Over time, she reclaims power, finding ways to influence decisions and shape the future. That arc, from silenced victim to political actor, is one many survivors and sex workers will recognize. We too have had our reputations weaponized against us. And yet, in community, in advocacy, in leadership, we find ways to wield influence, even when the world would prefer we stay quiet. Reclaiming Bathsheba. Bathsheba was not a seductress. She was a survivor who endured abuse and loss, and then used her position to shape Israel's monarchy and secure her son's reign. She stands in the lineage of Solomon, the builder of the temple, and ultimately in the genealogy of Jesus, Matthew 1:6. Far from being erased, she is written into the foundation of redemption history. Maybe that's the real thread of Bathsheba's story. Not that she tempted a king, but that she endured injustice, reclaimed her voice, and became a power in her own right. So the next time someone calls her a bad girl, remind them Bathsheba was more than David's scandal. She was Solomon's queen mother, Jesus' ancestor, and proof that survival can become power. This post is part of Swap Behind Bars series Bad Girls of the Bible, exploring how women's reputations have been shaped by stigma and what that means for sex workers and criminalized women today.